The cause of flooding is not as a result of garbage in the watercourses. It's because of the adverse weather conditions. This is the view of Dr. Kublalsingh, environmentalist and leader of the Highway Reroute movement. On Thursday, he held a press conference to explain why the recent flooding occurred in South Trinidad and to give recommendations to prevent it from happening again. Rishi Harrynanan has more in this report.
Dr. Kublalsingh said much of the water that comes from the Orinoco Basin goes down the Columbus Channel and it comes from the Andes. And because of the recent extreme weather events and the melting of the glaciers of the lower and mid-level slopes of the Andes, we've had more water frequenting the system.
So the water comes down the Andes, goes into the Orinoco Basin, comes down the Columbus Channel in a rush, and moves up the rivers. For example, it moves up the Orinoco River, and there is no gate. So when this water moves up during the wet season, the rainy season, up the Orinoco River, and there is high precipitation because of extreme weather events, and the water is being backed up in the sea because of this Orinoco flow up the Orinoco River, it has nowhere to go.
As such, he said the flooding in South Trinidad is not as a result of garbage being dumped.
And this is going to be aggravated in the future, next year, the following year, leading to, in the high areas, landslides and landslips, and in the low areas, a lot of water. There is a lot of water in the system, and the water has to go somewhere.
Dr. Kublalsingh said the flooding situation will get worse every year if proper structures aren't put in place. He suggested the floodgates in Faisabad be fixed, as he noted 5 of the 7 are not working.
When the seawater is backing up from the Orinoco flow, and the water coming on the other side, then the water has nowhere to go. Water backing up against water has nowhere to go. That's why you need the floodgates to prevent water at high tide from backing up inland.
He said these must be able to be operated both manually and electronically. Dr. Kublalsingh also said a hydrological study needs to be done to understand how structures are to be developed.
We have to have a master hydrological plan, see how the water behaves in the sea, in the air, in the biosphere, before we can start creating successful technologies and hydraulics.
Dr. Kublalsingh is suggesting government can seek to build retention ponds and harvest the water. He said local government reform is needed, as well as ways to develop forestry. Rishi Harrynanan, CNews.
Leader of the Highway Reroute movement, Dr. Kublalsingh, is again calling for an audit into the Day Bay to Mondesir section of the highway extension to Point Fortin. On this, the 5th anniversary since the first hunger strike against the construction of the highway, Dr. Kublalsingh described as an economic, ecological, financial and social crime the construction of that section of the highway.
Any attempt to load the Orinoco Basin with 5 large interchanges, a 12-foot embankment, a mega highway, and 1.4 million tons of aggregate will blockade and displace the sheet flow of water across the basin and lead to further catastrophic impacts.
He said the audit must incorporate the highway from inception, certification, and collapse.